Welcome to r/entitled people, where we share stories from your lives about people who think the rules don't apply to them, and they should get what they want. Thank you, friends, for subscribing to the channel, and for so many likes. And today we have 3 great stories, so subscribe, hit the like button, and let's begin. The first story: the court finally caught up with my terrible neighbor. The second story: entitled customers get their share of karma. The third story: management's lousy attitude and lack of concern for safety led to the closure of the business. The first story is: meet Frank, the embodiment of a problem. Meet my neighbor Frank. He's been my neighbor since I moved to the neighborhood around 8 to 9 years ago. To give a bit of a description of Frank, he's a middle-aged divorced man with several kids, a love for riding motorcycles in the middle of the night, has a knack for confrontation, and has some sort of a superiority complex. If this already sounds like a troublemaker, you better brace yourself. Here's a highlight reel for Frank's extensive catalog of things he's done. When we, my family, first moved into the neighborhood, we heard Frank might stir some trouble, but we didn't have a terrible experience with the guy until a couple years later. Around this time, he picked up the hobby of flying drones. Actually, it was more like flying drones over people's houses and looking at them with the drone's camera. Specifically, he liked to fly them over houses with teenage girls living there. It actually got to the point where he was put on the news, and he defended his actions in a pretty idiotic way. One of these girls that had been spied on by him talked about his desire to peep on her when she was in her pool, to the news as well. While it did attract attention from the news and the rest of the neighborhood that was unaware of his antics, he was never faced with legal charges for this, and he basically got off scot-free. You'll notice that this becomes a theme as the story goes on. Even with this attention on him with his perverted tactics, he still flew his drone every day, though he seemingly quit flying it over houses. Instead, he tried following people with it. This failed on his first attempt. On this attempt, he was following my sister and her friend, who were about 8 at the time, when the drone crashed into a tree they were under. The drone lost power and dropped right in front of them. We have video of this on our security camera system, but for privacy reasons, I won't share the clip. The drone fell with some force to the point where if it had hit one of the girls, it might have done some actual damage, considering how young they were and all. My father confronted him about this, but all Frank did was scream and curse at him for daring to talk to him in such a manner. Although my dad ended the confrontation quickly due to not wanting to waste his time with a screamer, Frank decided he needed payback for something that was his fault. Remember when I wrote that he loved riding his motorcycle in the middle of the night? For the next few days, he would wait till 1 or 2 a.m. to rev his engine in front of our driveway and screech past our house at crazy speeds. Because we never went up to him and got mad, he grew bored from not being confronted. As I said, he has a kink of some sort for it. Not much happened other than his occasional late-night motorbike rides until about a year after the drone incident. Something I didn't mention at the start was that he has a love for owning an excessive amount of cars, motorcycles, and boats. Obviously, this takes up a large amount of space, more than a usual driveway and garage can hold. So he began parking all of his cars and boats along the street. It got to the point where, despite his house being about 4 down from ours, the vehicles were just about blocking our driveway. He had them parked overnight, which our HOA does not allow. He got several violations for this, and even to the point to where he got into trial for excessive problems. Now, this started in late 2018. To this day, this court battle continues. This is due to extreme luck on his part, COVID shutting down the courts for a large amount of time, as well as delay tactics. I won't go into specifics, but basically he keeps writing letters to switch judges, by saying that the current one assigned to his case will be biased to him, even if him and the judge have never spoken. They keep allowing him new judges to gather more evidence on him, but for now he believes he's winning. Once again, he gets off without any immediate punishment. The boat and car situation has been the main problem with him for these past few years, but he's done one other thing very recently, 2 days ago, which inspired me to share the story of Frank. Basically, about a month ago, Frank decided instead of wasting his valuable time walking his dogs and allowing them to use the bathroom, he would instead open his door and allow them to run free around the neighborhood until he saw it. These dogs aren't regular-sized dogs, though. They're big dogs, and while I don't know the exact breeds, I can tell they have Rottweiler features. He did this a few times before my dad decided to record him doing this, as it's against the law. Frank did not like this, so after having a raging tantrum at my father for legally recording his illegal action, he began parking his large car right in front of our driveway. It's actually legal for him to do this, as it doesn't completely block us from backing out of the driveway. It's still very annoying, but knowing how much he loves to be confronted, we have not said a word to him. It's almost comical when we're outside and we watch him park his car right in front of our house, and then proceeds to make the long walk to his house. Since it's the summer and very hot outside where we live, we thought he'd stop by now. However, he's continued for weeks. About a week ago, he attached a trailer to the already large car, making it more difficult for us to exit our driveway, but still legal. At least until he used a piece of cardboard to replace his license plate on his trailer. We sent an email to code enforcement, but we didn't call in since we knew they were already dealing with other Frank-caused problems. Well, 2 days ago, code enforcement knocked on our door. He said someone called in the car with the trailer and assumed it was ours because it was obviously parked right in front of our house. We told him it was not ours, and it was Frank's instead, and that we had video proof to back that up. As soon as we told him that, he had a surprised look on his face. He then revealed that Frank was the one who had called the vehicle in. That's right, he called in his own illegally parked trailer to get us in trouble. My mother wanted to walk the code enforcer to Frank's house to have him dealt with, but the man said he was told by the higher-ups not to have any contact with him. Apparently, no one can contact him directly, since they don't want him to have a harsh reaction. So for now, he gets off without a hitch. His karma will come soon. Frank has claimed several times throughout the year that he will move, yet never has. My parents have told me that I cannot speak to him as long as he's living here. Ever since then, I've been waiting to tell him my thoughts on him right before he leaves his house for a new one. I was in 2nd grade when we moved here, and in 5th grade when we started having problems with him. Now, as I begin to move into junior year of high school, I doubt I'll still live in this house the day he finally leaves. Though I plan to come back home to celebrate the day he leaves if I'm in college when that happens. I'll post an edit if the legal system finally gives him what he deserves. For now, he gloats thinking he's had the last laugh, but I have a feeling that it won't stay that way for long. 8/22/22 edit. Frank has stopped his shenanigans these days because the court finally caught up to him. While he didn't get all that I felt he deserved, he definitely got owned in court. At some point last year, an official case was started against Frank. The judge that was assigned to his case instantly realized that he was in the wrong. When Frank realized this, he filed to switch judges due to the current one being biased. They actually granted him a new one the first time, but the next judge was also keenly aware that Frank was in the wrong. When he tried to get a judge changed a second time, he got destroyed by the judge. Frank was stupid enough to send a letter to the judge now permanently assigned to his case, calling him lots of profane things. I'm not sure what he believed that would accomplish, but it certainly didn't help him. In the end, while he didn't get any huge fines or jail time, he's definitely getting jail time if he tries something again. Miraculously, Frank understands that, and he hasn't tried anything since. Overall, a happy ending to this fairy tale. The second story is, "It will be much cheaper and easier this way," she said, "but praising an OTA means that instant karma inevitably finds you." A younger couple walks in and asks for a room for the night. Just one night, no issue. As I'm setting up the reservation, I tell them the price. Probably around $97 plus tax that night. The woman's partner, who I will call Joe, interrupts me and turns his phone to his girlfriend Jane. He said that the online prices were $12 cheaper than our in-person prices, which is dumb in itself because you'll certainly have to pay at least $12 in fees for using that OTA. Joe asked if I could give him a price lower than the OTA's rate. Nope, no, I can't. Jane sighed and said, "Fine, we'll just book it online. It'll be cheaper and so much easier and faster that way." Narrator, but it was neither fast nor easy. Oh, Jane, you poor dumb woman. I invited her to sit in the lobby chairs and grab a cup of coffee or tea while they were getting their SH together. I hate when people decide to make an online reservation while literally standing in front of my desk the whole time. Bruh, go sit down. 15 minutes later, Joe comes up to the desk and says, "Okay, so I booked a prepaid non-refundable reservation on OTA, but I accidentally booked it for the wrong dates. I wanted it to be for tonight, but instead it's for the 24th and 25th. Can you change it to tonight?" I swear it took all my willpower to keep the SH eating grin off my face, huh? Quick and easy, my A. I looked at him and said, "Nope, their card won't authorize until the date of the reservation, so it won't work if I change the dates. You'll have to take it up with whoever you booked it through." "Are you serious? You can't just switch the dates?" "No, I can't switch anything when idiots like you book PPNF reservations through third parties." "No, I can't switch anything." He huffed and rolled his eyes, and Jane came up to the front desk to talk to me as well. She had the most brilliant idea I've ever heard in my life. "Well, can't you just leave the dates as they are and use the money on that one to pay for a room tonight?" I blinked at her for a few seconds while I tried to figure out why people use OTAs when they have zero idea how they work, and why people use OTAs even when they do know how they work. I said, no, that's not how it works at all. You pay them and they pay us. There's nothing being paid to us until we run OTA's card, and the SU card doesn't work until the day of your reservation. So I can't give you any room tonight with the reservation you made. You have to take that up with your OTA." She made an annoyed sound and said, Well, you can just cancel it then and refund us. B, I can't even. Wow, how dense do you have to be? Do you not understand any of the words I said to you? Do I need to provide pictures and diagrams for you to get the idea? I don't have your money. And what part of prepaid non-refundable don't you understand? You paid the OTA, it's non-refundable, and it's not my problem. I said, nope, I can't cancel it. You made the reservation with a third party. You paid the third party. You'll have to resolve this with the third party. I can't do anything on my side. She stomped back over to the lobby chairs with Joe. Over an hour later, I get the dreaded phone call. We're calling you concerning our mutual guest, Shutters. The OTA rep asked for permission to change the reservation as always. And as always, I said, man, you can do whatever you want with it, I don't care. The reservation was made by your company. I can't do anything here. Have at it, do what you want. Another 15 or 20 minutes later, they had a new reservation waiting for them. I checked them in, and they didn't say a single word to me, and didn't see them again. An hour and 20 minutes. Cheap, quick, and easy, huh? Right. To be quite honest, it was extremely satisfying to hear them fighting with the rep on the phone for an hour right after they said it would be quick and easy. Karma's a bee. And the last story is, kitchen porter almost loses an arm and is treated like SH, cosmic karma. Long-time lurker, first-time poster, yada yada yada. I was working in a kitchen, UK, where I KP'd, kitchen portered, for 2 different kitchens, 3 sometimes as the first 2 were quiet. Inevitably, this led to busy evenings and late nights. 4 a.m. was not uncommon, so much so that chefs would argue with each other and refuse to let me leave their kitchen until I had done all the dishes so they could go home before 11. And there were basically no other KPs to fill my shoes. One quit the week I joined, and one was on holiday on the week of this particular incident. In this place, I was berated and told, amongst other things, if you pay peanuts, you get monkeys, when I couldn't KP for 2 kitchens fast enough, and reminded that I was the lowest of the low. Obviously, if I was a KP during a summer at university, I had no aspirations and I was a lowlife. One evening after being told the health inspector was coming this week, and making sure I needed to sweep every corner of the restaurant and clean everything, 5 to 6 a.m. finishes, I ran into a bit of trouble. I was sweeping the corner of the kitchen and realized all of a sudden the legs weren't screwed on our industrial dishwasher. How did I realize? I had my arm almost snapped between a 100-kilogram dishwasher and a metal sink as the dishwasher fell into the corner where I was sweeping. Water started gushing all over the floor and across all the cabling and plugs behind the dishwasher. After not being electrocuted and not having my arm crushed, I called the chef to help me lift the dishwasher. A berating ensued for the next 10 minutes about how I could have been such an idiot and let this happen. Well, I called in sick the next day, and the day after, and the day after. In fact, I only went back in once more for my check almost 2 months later. I was too scared to face management. Well, they closed down less than 6 months after because they couldn't find any kitchen porters and couldn't get enough customers in the door. And I'm happily following a career in IT. Sucks to be punked by karma. Hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Have a good day.